Welcome back. Today is my second video, and I want to share with you a couple of thoughts on why is writing so important and how did writing change my life a couple of years ago. I have been writing for like since I'm young, most of it in Portuguese, naturally. I had just started working at Deloitte here in Portugal as a strategy and operations consultant. That I've started to have like not necessarily a newsletter, but it was like a weekly roundup, like a weekly memo that I would send to my superiors saying like what I had done and what I would do the week after. And it was really interesting because I started to understand that people above me they were really happy by being able to just with a single email understand what I had been able to achieve and what I was struggling with. And that was like the first moment that I realized how important writing was, because writing was able to to give structure to a certain message and to provide clarity and align everyone on a single message. And I don't know why, I just kept doing it, okay? Until there was a moment, it was back in September, like 2021, so 4 years ago, something like that, when I jumped on Twitter and I started using Twitter to share my own thoughts. Once again, like every single week, I would write a Twitter thread about like things I was doing, like documenting my journey in public. Back then, I was trying to like build my own audience on Twitter and such like that. That being said, after jumping on Twitter, I was able to, through my writing, build an audience. With that audience, attract like-minded people. I started making money online. It became really clear to me that the ability of like, if you are able to like write something and pass a message with clarity, that it will unlock value for others. And that's something that stuck with me over the last couple of years. So just to give you an idea on how far I got through my writing. So after jumping on Twitter, and I told you already, it was in September 21. By March, April 22, I had already like quite a solid audience. I had already a couple of clients to whom I was writing. I was able to create like online courses and digital products and informational products on how to write and how to write Twitter threads and how to like create content around certain topics. And it was really awesome because the first one was like I was able to get a few clients, and just like at first, while at Deloitte, I was able to start making money on the side. So the simple fact that such a simple skill like writing allowed me to unlock so much value for others that then was translated to me through the form of money. It was like a breakthrough to me. The second one was like I was being able to reach like global markets and global clients through my room uh, in Portugal. You know, like I was writing for clients in the US while I was living in Portugal. And that per se is like huge, okay? And then came a moment when I decided to leave Deloitte. Back then in 2022, I decided to leave Deloitte. I had an idea for a startup, a tech company I wanted to build. And so I left Deloitte. And it was really interesting because the first thing I got was a part-time job at Odyssey DAO. So Odyssey DAO, it was a project about exactly like explaining non-tech people about Web3 and crypto and all of that. And it was really interesting because that part-time job, through that part-time job, I was able to like make some money on the side while I was also focusing on building my startup. And the goal of that job was for me to be their growth lead, basically to create a lot of content, a lot of written content. And so there I was once again, like unlocking value and being able to like pay my bills and give the next step that I wanted on my life through the power of writing. And so I started doing that for a while until a couple of months after, um, I was able to attract a certain individual who ended up investing in my startup, and then a second, and then a third, and suddenly there I was, working on my startup, like flying to San Francisco and being in Silicon Valley. And I had raised capital, like, whoa, all of that was happening. And the most important thing is that None of that was due to my product or big traction, like none of that. All of that was solely happening because I was able to clearly communicate, like to communicate clearly whatever I wanted to say. Okay. And as you may know, like writing well means clear thinking, right? Like if you think well and you are able to communicate whatever you are thinking in a proper way, you will attract like-minded people. Like that's an obvious. It may take some time, but you will attract like-minded people if you are able to explain whatever topic you may want in a clear way. And so just for you to have an idea, so right now I just described you what happened in the span of like 12 months. I went from Deloitte, like writing on Twitter while at Deloitte, to leave Deloitte, raise capital from strangers across the internet, making money, selling digital courses, selling digital products, building a community. I have, like back then, I had a newsletter, all of that just through the power of one single skill, which was writing. Even at the moment that I decided to close my startup, I was able to get a few clients to whom I was able to write. And so I kept having uh, the ability to pay my bills only through one simple skill, the skill of writing. Another thing I want to say about writing online and why is it important and why you too should give it a try is that like writing is this like very weird meta skill. Like just for you to have an idea, like behind video, behind every email, like newsletter, investor memo, like any presentation or film, there's always writing. You may be able to build whatever you want, but if you don't know how to communicate and communicate it in a way that actually like helps people understand your point of view, whatever it is, a product, a message, a movement, whatever, you won't be able to put whatever you have built like in the world, you know. That is why I wanted to make this video, not only to make you think differently about writing, but most importantly to perhaps um, share why you should start thinking about writing yourself, even more if you are a non-native English speaker just like myself. It won't be easy, and it won't be easy at first, neither at your second or third or fifth try, but you just have to keep trying. You have to keep like pushing yourself to like yeah, you have to keep pushing yourself in order for you to achieve some sort of mastery around writing, because ultimately after you improve at writing, you'll be able to improve at whatever other communication first skill you may find, and you will quickly understand how improving your writing will actually improve the way on how you think, and how you think about like passing messages that matters not only you but also others. And yeah, trust me, it's one of the best skills ever, and it completely changed my life. It completely changed my life. I was able to make money on the internet, like yeah, like hire people, raise capital. I was able to build my own startup and live one of the dreams that I've had, which was to build my own company and try to build a tech startup. All of that, like down to the fact that I was able to communicate clearly, I was able to write well, and ultimately everybody or those who matter, they understood the value that I was able to provide and create. And so, yeah, I hope it helps you to, I hope this video helps you to reframe of why you should write and start writing online. And just one final thought, which is I want to explore the concept of leverage. So leverage is one of those concepts that I truly believe and totally believe. Actually, like, yeah. Um, and I want to make a couple of videos about like what is leverage and how can you use leverage to your favor. But behind leverage, like a big concept is, for example, around writing, is that nowadays with the internet and all the social media and content creation and all of that, you can actually like from your city, your country, from your room, you can change your life just with one simple skill, just as writing. Okay, and that alone gives you like tremendous leverage because you can only not only monetize that skill, but you can actually like you can compound that skill over time, just by writing something. You write it once, and then you can have like millions of people reading whatever you have written. So that in itself is a superpower nowadays. So yeah, I hope you think better about why you should start writing. And yeah, and as I was mentioning, this is my second video. I'll keep posting a video a week. And as I have mentioned on my first video, yeah, this is my new YouTube channel where I want to share my thoughts, frameworks, and systems of how I think life, even coming from Lisbon, Portugal, even not being an English native speaker. Okay? See you on the next one. Bye.